Hello, 1250 students. My name is Aaron Raskadden. I'm sure by now you've seen my introduction video. I am going to give you a brief course overview. So just at a glance, shooting from the hip, this class, really the main focus of this class is Photoshop. So we'll be doing Photoshop for about 90% of our projects. And then at the very end, we'll make a portfolio in InDesign. So we will get very good at Photoshop. I'm incredibly passionate about Photoshop. I've been using this program for well over a decade. I love it. I think like Photoshop. I really enjoy being creative. And in this class, my main goal for you is to really have creative freedom when it comes to your projects. And you'll see, especially later in the semester, you do get a lot of creative freedom. Especially, we have a project. It's called the Hostel Lobby Design. It's one that I made. You get to design a whole entire hotel lobby. And then also there's one for kind of a wayfinding signage for Kodak that you get to design. So there's a lot of design opportunities. And I'm a huge advocate for having our interior students do that. So you'll see that coming down the pipeline. I have my little list over here of things to go over. Okay, so this course will mainly focus on Photoshop. And right now you may see my face primarily on the screen, but once we get into screen sharing, I'll shrink and I'll dive down into the corner. Okay, so mainly Photoshop, that's the first thing. And then where to find the syllabus. So I am actually going to view as a student, so I don't confuse you guys. While that loads, I'll just tell you about what's new. So simple syllabus is very new. You may have used it if you attended SLIC last semester, but this is faculty were supposed to use it, not all of us did. But I've been using this for a bit, and it takes a little bit to load. It's just more of a standardized syllabus template, so it's easier for our students to just find things. So every instructor will follow the same format here at SLIC for their syllabus. So that's where you find your syllabus. And I've also linked it on our homepage. You'll notice there's some orange graphics, and I think it says start here, modules, and syllabus. So you can find it there as well. So I'm going to review the key information. You're expected to read this as a student and learner. It's your responsibility to really know this. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. But I'm going to hit on the really big things. And then if you have any questions, go ahead and message me. But I've mentioned this before, possibly on a different page in this module, but I like to keep things short and sweet. I've had videos in the past that went on too long, and I do read my student reviews and I grow from them. I'm very much in the spirit. My students, they do know, I'm not sure everyone would say this, but I do feel like my students know best when it comes to what they need and what they want, so I listen. If they don't like something, we change it. And if anything comes up this semester that's not quite working, let me know and we can fix it. If it's fair and reasonable, I have no problem adjusting things. Okay, so the screen should be shared right now, and I'm going to go over this. So this is Interior Design 1250. Our section number is 502, and that's with me, Aaron Raskadden. We have our learning objectives here and our course prereqs. So keep in mind, you need to be literate in using a computer. So if you're not really comfortable using a computer, feel free to get in touch with me and I can get you some contacts at SLIC or some courses to really strengthen those skills. And you can maybe come back and then take this class. And that is totally fine. That's totally fine. If you are not completely techie, don't worry. I explain everything step by step. So just at least be baseline proficiency in opening a web browser, sending an email, etc. So pretty basic. So some tips in the course. I want you to know that you should start work a few days earlier than you think it should. So all of our material is always due on a Tuesday. I do that because Mondays are awful. Thursdays and Fridays are almost the weekend. And a lot of my students don't have classes on Fridays. So Thursday is their Friday, and most of my students work weekends. So I do Tuesday because that way you don't have to submit at 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday. So it's always, always, always a Tuesday, 11:59 p.m., and it will never not be a Tuesday. So just keep in mind, okay, I have my interior design homework for 1250 due on Tuesdays, 11:59 always, each week, except spring break, okay? I don't do homework on spring break. But there's some other tips you can read. Make sure to contact me via Canvas inbox. That is my preferred means of communication. Please do not email me on SLIC's email system. The Canvas inbox works really well because I can see which class you're in. I teach multiple classes here. I can pull up your gradebook. I can review things. And then also, you'll learn this in the modules. Sending me a screenshot is incredibly helpful if you're having a problem on your computer. I'm a very visual person, and sometimes it can be a little difficult for me to kind of imagine what the issue is going on. So a screenshot works. Okay, I will let you read the rest of that. But if you're having issues with your computer, let's say it won't turn on, or it's really glitchy interface, go ahead and go to the Slick Help Desk or the Slick Help Desk. You can find their information listed here. They are really good. And one thing I want you to do is when you are ready to purchase a new computer in the future, go talk to them and get their recommendation because it's free and it's incredibly professional, and they'll know exactly what computer you should have, and they'll likely know where you can get it discounted with a student discount. So they are there. The university pays them. They are geniuses when it comes to technology. But if you're having problems with little things like Photoshop or InDesign, shoot me a text message, or not a text message, sorry, shoot me a Canvas message and I can help you with that. That's no problem. Okay, so we do have an assignment schedule here. I just want you to know that this feature is very buggy in Simple Syllabus. So don't use it. I can't remove it. We're still working out the bugs in Simple Syllabus as a university. I don't have any say on how it happens or what it looks like, but this is obviously old. It's from summer, and I update everything every semester, including the content, the due dates, etc. But here is your little grading scale, okay? And I do not round grades in this class, okay? So if you, at the end of the semester, let's say, hey, Aaron, I'm really close to whatever grade, let me know and I will issue extra credit for the whole class. That's no problem. I have no problem doing that at all. And I do have lots of extra credit, so make sure to do that. If you are new to Canvas, there's this video. Slick defaults this in here. I can't remove it. You are welcome to view it if you like. And then keep in mind, we also have some tutoring. And if you want specific Photoshop tutoring, please let me know and get in contact with me. But before you do that, I would highly encourage you to schedule office hours with me. That way I can get to kind of the root of what's going on and help you before having someone who may not be as familiar with the course help you. So just keep in mind my office hours, they're listed here on the syllabus. Okay, make sure to read our institutional policies and learning support and advising as well. Okay, so required resources, you'll need a computer or a campus computer. That is totally fine. You can use one on campus, but it cannot be like an iPad. So you need a computer that can run Photoshop, and not Photoshop Express or a watered down version of Photoshop. It should be able to run Photoshop. So make sure to have a fully functioning computer. It does not need to be super fancy. I just use the baseline MacBook, and you could honestly, a Chromebook would likely run Photoshop. So anything you have access to works. If it doesn't work, let me know, and we can always grant an extension. Okay, so I have this thing called the netiquette policy. This is just our behavior online. So just a few things with language. I say here, emojis, refrain from using those. Actually, if it's a smiley face here and there, I don't mind it, but limit it to one per post. I don't want an emoji after every single sentence. And then just respond meaningfully to your peers and be kind and professional. And then late work is accepted, but it is 10% per business day. And then also something really important to note is that if you're not feeling well, or there was an issue, or one of your friends wasn't feeling well, or a close friend, a family member wasn't hospitalized, or you're just not doing well mentally, I don't need any details, but message me and we will work out an extension. I'm very much pro extension and having my students be able to complete their work. I understand life happens, and I would much rather you prioritize your well-being, your health, safety, welfare, and mental health above this course. So if something comes up, I need to know about it, but I need to know about it ASAP. I cannot know about it a month later because I see you're not turning in work. I'll comment on your assignments. Hey, I'm not seeing this. Can I help you? Can I help you? But if you start turning stuff in a month later and say, hey, I wasn't feeling good a month ago, I unfortunately can't really do much. I need to know kind of the week of when things are going on. Okay. Academic honesty. Just keep in mind, if you are retaking this course, please don't use content you used prior. I have full records. I can see what you've submitted prior, and it takes me about 2 seconds to look up. I just click your name, and I can see what you submitted last time on the assignment. So please just be honest. I prefer you just turn in fresh work every time. Okay, plagiarism is not an issue in this class. We don't do much writing, and I know Photoshop has some AI features, but the things we're doing are so specific, and I look at your files, so I need to see kind of the paper trail. Okay, so just to restate, my office hours are listed up here. And then an additional thing I'd like to mention is if you are working with our Disability Services Office, please immediately send me a message with your accommodations. It should be a PDF. I need to know about that ASAP. Those unfortunately are not retroactive. I can't go back and change the rules of the game, so I need to know immediately. You can email them to me. That's fine. Some students have the disability services email them to me, which is totally okay. But make sure that I get those, and I will absolutely accommodate to whatever needs you have outlined through that office. And again, with that, keep in mind, I don't need any details on what the disability or condition is, and it won't state that in the letter. It'll just simply state what I am to issue to accommodate for that student. Okay. All right. So one thing I want to mention, so I call it the hallmark / cornerstone / most important / key skill of this class, and that will be masking. So I'm going to go to our modules, and I'm going to show you kind of the lay of the land here. So we have orientation, our first week, okay? And then we start to get into masking, part 1 and 2, and then masking will be really included throughout this whole entire course. And masking is simply cutting out the areas in the image you don't want. So if this was a picture, I would just cut out the background and we'd hide it. It's pretty basic, but it can take some getting used to. That will be the backbone of this class. So I will make sure to show you that. And then I want to show you a few things. So module 1 is open. You're welcome to complete that. And then later this week, about 10 days before the due date, I will open up module 2, Photoshop Basics. And the reason I do that is because I look at your assignments every week. So you turn them in on Tuesdays and I grade on Wednesdays. And then I see your grades, I'm like, oh, okay, me as an instructor, I didn't make that clear enough. So I go and I change things for the following week. It's a little crazy, but I'm really into catering things to this specific section. Not if, like all of them, each section is different, and I acknowledge that you are different groups of human beings. So I make that really important. So I will edit things. So that's why I do that. And also, I like to pop in surveys every once in a while and say, hey, do you want some more creative liberty on such and such? How are you feeling about this? Would you like more practice on this? And that gives me time to adjust things. And I'm very much for my students, this is a democracy, and I want you, this is your class. I facilitate. And if you want to learn a specific skill, please message me, and I will either point you to a resource or include it as an assignment or even extra credit. But each week is a module listed here, always due on a Tuesday. We'll be covering a few things, the basics, masking, transformations. Okay, so that's like skewing and warping images, perspective, adjustments, changing brightness, contrast, hue, color, saturation, tonality, all of that. And then we have a midterm, which will be fun. That's another great creative opportunity. Healing and cloning, some floor plans we're doing. This is really our design era. Floor plans, lobby design, designing an office, and then we'll end with a portfolio. So this video is getting to about 13, 14 minutes, so I'd like to wrap this up. But there's a few things I will get to. Okay, so I want to talk about feedback. So feedback is incredibly important, and I want you to know that I take it very seriously. So you submit your work on a Tuesday, I grade it on Wednesday. So give me a few days. You may not get it right away on Wednesday, and I'll try to go from the top of the class list down, and the next week from bottom up, and the next week middle down, just so you can get, sometimes you can get your feedback immediately on a Wednesday, but just give me a few days, but I start on Wednesday, so you get it back quickly. But this is my little page on how I give feedback. So I give feedback like this right here. So I will copy and paste a template Keep in mind it doesn't have any of this text in it. It's just these headers, okay? And you'll always have this template: overall performance on assignment, areas the student excelled, room for improvement. Keep in mind, I still leave room for improvement even if you got 100%. I rack my brain and find tiny details or things because I've had comments in the past on my course evaluations. Hey, Aaron, even though I really excelled at Photoshop, I really want more feedback. So that's why I do that. And then also additional notes from instructor. This will usually be the same every time. I just want you to know I have office hours and that I always comment on your rubric, always. Okay. And then parting comments, I'll just leave a little note about, hey, nice work, watch out for this, hey, visit me in office hours, etc. But that's what that is. So overall, welcome to the course. I'm so excited to have you. I've been teaching this class, I think, for about 4 years already. So it's been a minute, but I love Photoshop. Absolute nerd when it comes to Photoshop. And then also too, I have this little Hall of Fame, and as we go throughout the semester, I'll add your images. Of course, I'll ask for permission, but I'll add them to the homepage. Okay, if anything comes up, shoot me a message. I'm super excited to be your instructor, and we'll be in touch. Okay, good luck on Module 1. Reach out if anything pops up. And then one thing to keep in mind is every week on Wednesdays, I post an announcement. And the announcement will always be a video. I find that has more engagement, and people like the video because they can open another tab and do something else and listen to me, which is fine. So I'll send an email, or excuse me, a Canvas message on the first day of class. And then after that will be all announcements with the video. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one.